Right, in the last class, we have discussed uh, the structure of the OS, where we have discussed the monolithic structure and layered structure and microkernel and the loadable kernels and hybrid models. Okay. See, in all the cases, what we have observed is what is the way that the operating system has constructed in order to fulfill the user requirements. Okay. Um, so in all of them are different the way which they process the user requests in order processing the request what way internally the flow or uh, the instructions are going to be executed. That is only the difference that exists among the all these things. Now, let us see an important aspect: system calls. Okay, so before going to discuss about these things, once again we need to be revise whatever we learned in GL mode, user modes and GL mode, which we have discussed previously. Just a minute, I'll show you. Right. See, once again, we just discuss this particular modes so that we can easily understand what is the use of system calls. Okay. So, in order to distinguish between user level code and the operating system code, okay, the system is operated in two different modes. One is user mode and kernel mode. So, in order to differentiate these things, okay, an additional bit will be added. Based on that bit data, it will be decided whether it is user level code or the OS level code, right? uh, if the system call changes mode to kernel, return from call resets it to user. See, here also the system call will help you to change the mode of execution from user to operating system. Say, for example, if the mode bit is 0, it indicates user level. Let us assume that if it is 0, then it represents the user code, user mode. If it is 1, then we can call it as a kernel, for example. Let us assume like that. Okay. So based on that hardware bit, the operations are going to be executed. So in order to set the bit, again we'll use the system calls. I'll show you what way the operating system has started is initially system has booted. When you press the power button, internally the first step is the system is booted. Okay, that means started, and hardware starts the kernel mode. Hardware starts the kernel mode. That means now it is ready to now it is ready to execute the operating system instruction. So for that purpose, the operating system will be loaded. After that, once it was loaded, then only and, you might have experience with this, because when you switch on this, what will be appear? Windows or Linux. some screen, the operating system is appeared on our screen when it was started, right? So, but you may not aware of the first two steps, what is boot and what way hardware starts in kernel mode. These things you may not be aware, it may not be visible to you, but internally they were happened. Then only it starts the loading, operating system process has started. And after that, once it was loaded, once your system has started, then only you are able to execute your operation. That means either if you want to open a Word document, or you want to run a C program, or you wanted to do some other thing, any activity, whatever you wanted to do with the system, okay, that will happen only after loading the operating system only. So once it was started, then automatically, previously it is in kernel mode. That means all the instructions are executed by the operating system. Of course, for user instructions are also executed by operating system. Now here you are able to differentiate these two. Okay, so once it was loaded, the user has started instructions, okay, executing. For example, if I try to open a Word document, I wanted to prepare a document. For that purpose, what I have to do, I just click on the desktop and I'll open the new Word document. Okay, and I started typing something. If I click on save button, it will be saved in the disk or the place which you have selected. Okay, it will be permanent for that. Right? So in order to complete this task, what happens internally? First, it was created. For creation, a lot of process should be going on internally. Right? Once you type all these things and if you click on the save button, again, a set of a set of operations to be performed on that in order to save the data in the secondary storage area. After that, you are supposed to close it. For closing also, it is an instruction. Like that set of operations are going on internally. But these all operations are not visible to the user. Right? So whenever it allows to perform certain switch to user mode in the sense, then only you are able to start typing or doing something. Until then, it is in kernel mode itself. So whenever trap or interrupt occurs, hardware switches to user to kernel mode. That means whenever once your typing is over, if you want to do something, you want to execute something, or you want to get the services of the IO devices or the memory management or the whatever the services that we have discussed previously, if you want any one of that, you need to be interrupt the execution of this current process. Then only it will be shifted from kernel mode to user mode. Right? Now, see, you can observe this. So here, what you understood is user process kernel. So once it was started the executing, okay, immediately the system calls are invoked. Trap mode bit is 0. As I told you, user mode, kernel mode, right? If it is 0, execute the system call. That means it is in the kernel mode. And after that, once it was over, again, the bit was set to 1 so that it will be entering to the user mode. So kernel mode bit is 0 and user mode bit is 1. Okay. As long as this bit is 1, it is in user process. Whenever if it want to get the services of this one, what happens? It need to be changed to 0. So that will be done with the help of system call. Right? So your system call will be executed according to system call means again whatever the service that the operating system is able to provide, that you can get with the help of system call only. Once again, I'll tell you whatever the service means, operating system is responsible for resource allocation, memory management, disk management, like whatever the services that it will provide. In order to get any one of this, you need to use the system call via your program, user program. Okay. So for example, here, if you want to create a new file, creation of your new file. In order to create a new file, what we require, we need the services of memory, because that is only the place where we can create a new one, right? So in order to do that, that process, memory management is one of the service provided by the operating system. So immediately it need to move to shift it to the kernel mode. What is kernel? As we have discussed in the last class, kernel is a part of or core part of OS. Core part of OS. Okay. So whenever if we want to get the services of memory, what we have to do, we need to change the mode from user to kernel by changing the mode bit. Right after that, it will be executed. What is this? Create. What is the system call? I will show you very soon some of the system calls, how they got executed and all. First of all, I just try to create a clear idea about what exactly the system call. Okay. So this can be executed. After that, it is automatically set to 1, then only it will be entered. Suppose if it forgot to set it to 1, what happens? Still it is in kernel mode. So no way the system process is, user process is going to be continued its execution. Okay. So here some instructions are designated as privileged, as I told you. That means only they are executable in kernel mode only. They cannot execute in the user processes. Such kind of instructions are called as privileged instructions. Okay. Now, so this is an abstract view what exactly a system call. So this is your application. Okay. And this is the operating system. What is operating system? Operating system provides device management, protection, file system, network communication, process management, and security. So these are the different CPU, memory, network, printer, disk. So these are the various services. So in order to get any one of these service, which is available in the operating system, that can be done with the help of this system call only. Okay, all clear now. It acts as an interface between your visual application and operating system. Whereas operating system is which acts as an interface between application and the hardware components. See, internally, you just try to understand what exactly are the difference that exist one with another, right? In order to get the any one of this service, we need to use system calls, right? They were executed in the kernel mode. So that is the reason they were called as privileged instructions. With the help of system call, application programs or user programs are getting executed in the operating system in order to complete its execution. Okay, I'll show you a simple example uh, where just a minute, I'll show you the code. I think somewhere I was placed. All right. Now, probably this will give you the clear picture to you. This is the C program which uses the printf statement here. So all of you observe this printf greetings. So what is the meaning of printf? Printf statement is used to display the content in the output device. The content in the output device. Okay. Printf greetings. So what we are expecting? So greetings is supposed to be displayed on the screen. So in order to execute it, what happens internally is, as this instruction is written in C program, it is an application program. So the user is supposed to write, he was developed a code and he wanted to execute something. So while executing this user application, as of now it is in user mode. Okay. But here we need the services of output device. For that, we need to be interact with the operating system because you don't have right to directly interact with the hardware. So you need to interact with the operating system. So in order to interact with the operating system, okay, so this application need to be interacted with the kernel, which is one of the core part of operating system. So for that, what it has to do, it need to change the mode from user to kernel. Okay, from 1 to 0 it was shifted, and then it looking for the C library, and then it calls the method write. Write method means which is used to write the information on the output device. Okay, so it calls this particular system call, and that could be executed. That could be executed means, so whatever the device, output device which is available, probably it may be on printer, or it may be on your output device, or it may be on some other file, whatever you have specified. Here you have specified this particular output should be displayed on the screen itself. That is output device. So instead of that, if you specify the path, some other place where you want to keep this output, okay, automatically it will be stored in the another file. Or you want to be this, you wanted to display it on the printer, so it will be printed. So that will be done here. Execution of the system call means where you wanted to print this particular data. Okay, that would be executed, because if it is in output device, I mean your monitor, it should be operated in one way. If it could be stored in some other file, you wanted to keep this output in some other file, what we have to do, we need the services of memory management instead of output device, right? So for that, the process will be different, right? Similarly, if you want to print this content on the printer, for that it need to be communicate with other device which is connected to the system, and then it process in a different way. So according to the instruction, it could be executed, and finally it returns the result, right? Hope you all understand. Hope you all understood this particular concept or not. Now again I'll be move to the previous one. So still, if you have any confusion, what exactly the system call, what is the role of system call uh, in operating system, I will explain one more example. Right? So you please tell me whether are you clear with this one or not. Of course, we will elaborately discuss now, but one should have the fundamental idea of what exactly the system call. Hope you are all clear with this point. Okay, now let us see the definition part, and the way which we use the system call in order to get the services of the operating system. So first one is system calls provides an interface to the services made available by an OS, right? So in order to get the services of the operating system, the one and only possibility for us is system calls. And what it does is system calls can be handled by kernel. All of you remember this. This is an important point. System calls can be handled by an operating system, and we can call the system calls by means of a program. So, by means of the program, that means in the previous example which I showed you, printf greetings. So there, we did not write any system call like for or some other etc other than C language code, right? So that is the meaning of this. So you need to write whatever the program instruction that you have written. In turn, it will be converted into as system call. That means the printf statement itself, it will be converted. It will be treated as a system call, because the output need to be written into the monitor. For that, we need to use the system call write. So in order to execute the system call, the process should be changed from user mode to kernel mode, because IO devices are operated with an instruction issued by the operating system. So that will be taken care of kernel. Okay, so that is the reason how it can be handles the uh, system calls are written in program, right? And system call provides the services of the operating system to the user program via API, application program interface, right? So application program interface means the editor where you have run your C program, because that is the place through which we'll try to interact with the system itself, right? Wherever you are running your C program, that is nothing but your API. So whatever the instruction that you have submitted printf, what you are expecting while executing your program, you are expected to display the greetings message on your screen itself, right? So internally, in order to display it on the screen, what happens we have seen in the previous slides. Hope you're all clear with this point, right? So system calls are only the entry point. It is also one of the important point. System calls are only the entry points into the kernel system, right? So with the help of system calls only, we can enter into the kernel mode. Otherwise, we don't have any other possibility to do it, to enter into the kernel mode, right? But all the programs need the resources must use system calls. So if you want any one of the service of the OS, if you require, you have to use the system call. That is only one and only possibility. Okay, whatever it may, right? So here, instead of using whatever the system calls, we use our programming instructions itself to act as a system calls. Of course, we will write some of the programs in your lab session. How do we create the system calls? How do we execute the system calls directly rather than writing programming instruction? Okay. Now, here, a small example. Are you able to view this diagram? Right? Is it visible to you? I was zoomed in. So still, if you are facing some problem, I'll do some other approach. Is it visible to you? Yeah, I need quick response because we need to discuss much more. Is it visible to you? Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So here, my intention is I want to copy the contents from source file to destination file. This is the user task. For that, what is happening internally, how the system calls are executed, in what sequence, we'll try to see. So, source file. First of all, what we have to do, you need to have source file, you need to have destination file, and source file should contain some data. Okay, so that data will be copied into destination file. This process is happening, but internally what happens, how this content are copied from one place to another place is, first one is acquire input file name. First you need to specify from where you want to copy the content. Suppose if you specify some sample.docx where your content is present. Okay, internally what happens, once it gets the file name, once it acquires the file name, what is that? All right, to from where it acquires, from the keyboard. Right. So in order to get the file name, what we have to do, in search button itself or using your mouse, you need to select the place. Okay. So for this, write prompt to screen, accept the input. Whatever you have typed in the search box, that will be accepted for the source file. The same case happen in the case of output file also. You need to specify where you want to keep this, or where you want to copy the contents of this source file. So for that, you need to specify the file name. Okay. In order to specify the file name, it allows you to type something Okay, once you type, so then automatically it will be accepted. So, and two more things happen internally is whatever the file name that we have entered as an input file, if it does not exist, what happens in that case? Simply it stops the process when the file is not existed. Do you want to create with the new file? Do you want to create a new file with the same name? Like that, it displays some message. The same case happen in the case of destination file also. Whatever the name that you have specified, if it is already existed. In the previous case, if it is does not exist, it display the error message. Whereas in the destination file, if it is already existed, because you wanted to create a new file where you want to copy the contents of source file, right? So for that reason, if the file is already existed with the same name, again it displays the message the file is already existed. You want to continue with this or about the execution, right? Usually what happens if you process, what happens in that case, whatever the contents which are present in this will be automatically erased when you copy the contents of source file to the destination, right? So in order to avoid it, what we have to do, we just copy the contents manually from the source file and we'll add the at the end of the destination file or wherever the place which you want to add. Okay, so that you are already aware of. Suppose if everything went well, that means so there is no file is the file is exist with the source file name and the destination file. A new file has created with the name specified by you. Now, what is the step? We need to extract one by one, one by one. First line need to be read from this source file and will be placed in the destination file. Automatically, pointer need to move to the second line. So second line will be copied and it will be placed in the destination file. Like that, the process is continuous till the end of the file. Okay, once the source file is ended, automatically the operation will be completed. So for that, what happens is it is a continuous process. So in loop means a set of instructions will be executed repeatedly. That we can call it as a loop, right? Read from input file and write to the output file until a read fails. Until read fails means no content is existing. Once it reaches the end of file, there no more content to be read from this particular file. So there the read gets fails. So automatically, then what we have to do, we need to close the destination file and as well as the source file. So after that, you just respond with a message like successfully copied or something like that. And then we can terminate it normally. So this is what is happening here. All the cases you can observe what is the role of sequence. This is the sequential steps which are happening when we are copying a content from source files to destination file. Here, acquire input file name. From where we'll get that input file? So once you have typed means it is an input device, it is an hardware component. Okay, with the help of operating system we can interact with the hardware component. Okay, so in order to utilize this IO devices, what we have to do, whatever the programming instruction that you have written, that will be considered as a system call, so that it gets executed in the kernel mode. Then only you got the services of input device. Similarly, for prompting it into the screen means it is an output device. Again, the same process is continued, right? For and here you can observe read from the input file. Input file means internally or practically, if you observe input file means it is a storage area. Storage area means we need the services of memory management, right? So if you want to utilize the services of memory management, what do you have to do? Again, it need to be acts as a system call, so that you'll get the right to access the memory. And similarly, while copying it into the destination file, there also memory management, right? So in such a way, whatever the service that is provided by the operating system, in order to use it in your program, one should use the system calls. Hope you are all clear at this moment. Still, if you have any doubt, you please drop a message. Any one of you? If you have any doubt, you please Is it clear to everybody? Five 31. Five 31. Unmute yourself. 531. Five 3 1. Are you there or not? 505. 505. Unmute yourself.
Sir.
Oh, LE 505. Okay, good. Is it clear to you what exactly the system call and what is its role
Yes, sir.
to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. Now, a system call interface that serves as the link to the system calls made available by the OS. So here, the system call interface, the same meaning which was conveyed in the different perception is a system call interface that serves as the link to system calls made available by the OS. Okay, the system call interface intercepts function calls in the API and invokes the necessary system calls within the OS. That means whenever, so same example you can talk about user application. As far as concerned with the user, what he is doing, I'm executing. Let us assume that I am the user. I am going to execute the C program. Okay. So as far as concerned with me, I am executing my C program. So for that, I have written my instructions or whatever the output that I'm expecting in the C language. Okay. But whenever if you, in order to execute your print statement, the print statement, okay, it need to use the services of output device. So that is not possible for your C program. So internally that need to be change it into the system call so that it gets executed by the kernel so that we are able to interact with the operating system. We means our code is going to be a prompt to display the greetings message on the output device. So in order to do all these things, we need to have an interface. That is what we are called as a system call interface. So typically, a number is associated with each system call. For each and every system call, there will be assigned with a number. And the system call interface maintains a table indexed according to these numbers. That means first, write, number 2, read, number 3, fork, number 5, join. Like that, whatever the system calls for each and every one will have a number, and this system interface will maintain an index. Because whenever it wants to execute something, it will be verified on the index itself. As like whenever if you want to read a particular concept in our textbook, what we'll do, usually we'll refer the index where it was presented. So in that, we'll look at about the page number where it is available. Immediately, we'll shift to that page number rather than moving one by one by one. Right? So the system call interface then invokes the intended system call in the OS kernel and returns the status of. See, here you can observe this diagram. I'll zoom it. See, now you can check it out. This is user application. Say, for example, our program, C program or Java program or C++ program. Okay. In order to open your IDE, what we'll do, we just simply double click on the Turbo C++ editor. Or if it is in the Linux, we just type the command vi so and so file name dots. after connecting it to the server where your compiler is running. Okay, so whenever if I type vi sample.c, vi space sample.c, sample is the name of my new program which I'm going to be created. Okay, so what happens in that case? It need to be opened. Opened means somewhere in the memory, it need to be allocate some memory. Okay, and whatever the name that you have specified, that need to be stored for the future reference. So for that, we'll use the system call open. As long as it is in user perception, it is in user mode. But in order to get the service of this main memory management and file management, it need to use the system call open. So that will be executed in the kernel mode. Okay. So that particular open system call will be executed because this has a number. Okay, so while executing this particular system call, it looks for the table where this here you can observe I. This is the index where it is available. So correspondingly, the name is also available. According to that, it will be executed and returns the output to the system call interface. In turn, it will be returned to the user program. So that means once the creation of the file is over internally, automatically, then only you are able to view the screen where the sample.c new file has created with that. Once this process is over, then only you are able to view it on the screen. Okay, correct? So the relation between an API, the system call interface, and the voice, you can see it is API, it is system call interface, and it is operating system. Now you can understand the relationship between these three. Through API, user can interact. User can try to interact with the operating system. Okay, application program interface, where we'll write only user level or user mode of instructions. In order to execute those instructions, it needs the services of operating system. So the operating system services can be get with the help of system call interface, which will convert your user instructions into system calls so that they can get executed by viewing it in the indexed table, system call indexed table. According to that, the execution will be done, and after that, it returns the results to the system call interface. Finally, they were returned to the user application. So this is the relationship between these three. Okay. Now, there are several types of system calls are available, which are, suppose if the system calls related to the process, those are called as process control system calls, like files, file manipulation, device manipulation, information management, communications, and protection. So these are the 6 categories of system calls are available. Okay. So as far as concerned with the process control, process means a program in execution, whatever it may be. A program in execution, whether it is an operating system program or that means kernel or system call execution or an user instruction, whatever it may be. Not an instruction, a program in execution is called as process. Probably you may end the process. So in order to end, you need to have a system call. You need to abort the execution. You need to have one system call for loading the program, execution of the program. Okay. In order to do all these things, we need to create a process, terminate the process, get the process attributes, because in the coming unit you will have a complete information regarding this process control block, PCB, which is an important question, right? So where we will discuss about what are the attributes that the process is having, process ID, process name, and the resources are utilized by this process, right? We have different attributes are. So we'll discuss elaborately in second unit itself. Until then, you just remember that every process will have a set of attributes. Okay, and specific mechanisms to process it. Okay, so like that, we'll have several operations. So in this scenario, now what is the role of this system call is? In order to create a process where it will be created, so for this we need to assign a process ID and all. Okay, these all things again we need the services of memory management. So if you require any one of the operating system service, you need to have the system call. So these all specifies what kind of operations that we can do with the process. So that is the reason we all will call it as a system calls, so that we'll get the services of the operating system itself. Okay. Similarly, the file manipulation. You can create the file, you can delete the file, you can open, you can close, and once it was opened, either you may perform read operation or you may perform write operation, or you wanted to move directly to the specified position. Okay, like you get file attributes, what type of file it is. Okay, when it was created, like various attributes related to the file. These all things in order to do all these kind. If you want to get the attributes of the file, because they were recorded somewhere in the memory, so you need to get it to move to that location. Then only you are able to retrieve it. So for that, what we have to do again, whatever the service of the operating system you want, okay, we need to have a system call. Okay. Similarly, device manipulation. That means, as I told you in the previous example, if you want the services of input device, right, we need to have a system call to do it. Similarly, for the output device. Similarly, so what we can do, suppose from input device, by using keyboard, what we can do, we'll supply the input. Right? In order to read this data, whatever the content that you have typed, in order to acquire it or extract it, it need to use the system call. Similarly, the write. Right? Similarly, the device attributes. So whatever it is which is related to the device, because it is also hardware component. So operating system is able to communicate with hardware components. You don't have right. So how do you get that services of the operating system? With the help of kernel mode. Kernel mode can execute only the system calls. Okay, system calls. Your program instructions need to be converted into system calls so that they can get executed in the kernel mode, so that you will get the services of the operating system. Similarly, for the communication, data transmission, as I told you, network communication. If you want to transfer the data from one place to another place, you can send the message, your email. You can mail it to someone who is located somewhere. So how your message is going to be transmitted from here to there? So these are things. Similarly, protection. It's a very important aspect. You can set the privileges, read only, when we are sending a Google link to someone else. So you can restrict the users whether they can read only or view only, or they can edit, they can update, they can delete, like set of operations are there. Based on your selection, it will be applicable to the end users. That means recipient. If you restrict it as a view only, that means read only mode. So they are able to read only. They cannot write or they cannot modify it. In such a way, you can protect your data. Okay, and you can allow the users to use your system, or you can deny use. Okay, simply the password, if you set it for your system, okay, then it will become protection itself. Okay, so this is about the system calls. We'll see some of the system calls which are available in Windows and Linux in the next class, because the time is already late and the next class is going to be start. Okay, hope you are all clear with this, or you can drop any message, I mean, if you have any query.